So next guest on the DNB Wraps show is none other than Kusha. Jay, how you doing, mate?
How you doing? All good?
Very good, very good. So it's been a long road, hasn't it, Jay? Me and you have we've had ties here and there, back and forward since I first moved to Birmingham around 2008, back in the dubstep days. Tell us a little bit about how you got into the dubstep and what was going on back then.
So at the time, really, it was more into garage, how it started. And as you can imagine, back in the days of Passion and Sirius FM, that's what really kick-started my passion for DJing and music on a whole. And then when I started getting into that, somehow I fell into being friends with Devilman, the MC. And while I was friends with Devil, Mikal, as I would call him, it showed me a lot of the scene, and we got around quite a lot and met a lot of people that were involved with garage as well. And then dubstep literally came out of nowhere. And I remember listening to Scream Midnight Request Line for the first time, and that's when it really touched my soul. And from then I went digging for more stuff and came across the likes of Casper and Rusko, etc. And really just found myself indulged in that kind of dubstep scene, if that makes sense. And then from there, everything was just dubstep. Like the garage scene kind of faded out and dubstep just completely took over. And because Devil was into it as well, it just fitted together sort of thing, and we just was immersed in the scene, shall we say.
Yeah, I remember back then. I think me and you crossing paths. There was two events. There was a small event ran by Breakthrough. It was at the Custard Factory.
Correct.
That was one event, and the other one was the Hype events, which we both played at quite a bit, didn't we, as well?
Yeah,
I think we crossed paths there.
Hype was just fantastic memories, to be honest. And it was weird how I fell into that, because I had a friend called Dynamics, who was a DJ from Derby, and he knew John Chu, and at the time John was running Hype. And
weren't they from the Derby area as well, the guys that run it? I can't quite
remember. They were, yeah. And for some, I don't know how it happened, but I got invited to go and play on Shutter TV. Do you remember Shutter TV?
Yeah.
And I played my set, and from the second the set finished, Joe and John came running up and said, "You're playing Hype, the next Hype you're playing it." And from there, then I was just a resident every week. And some of the best years of my life, Hype was. It really was. Yeah,
they were good fun. They were the one that was bringing the big guests to Birmingham for dubstep, weren't it? They had, and it weren't just like one headliner. There was like 4 or 5 headliners, weren't it? They went in hard. They were fun parties. I really enjoyed playing for them. I got into those guys from obviously attending the events, but I knew. Do you remember Jake Crow?
Jake, yeah.
Good old Jake. Hi, Jake. If you're listening, I ain't spoke to you in absolutely years, mate. Get in touch. But that was my in with that. And Jake, he was such a nice guy. He was really friendly, very helpful, and obviously introduced me to those guys and got my foot in the door. And that's obviously when I recognised you from some of the Custard Factory parties and things like that. But you got quite a bit of momentum around that time, because you were releasing tunes as well, weren't you? And tell us a bit about some of the releases and some of the plays that you had.
So I got on to Stop Out Records, which were a small record company back then, but they, again, were very picky about who they signed and what music they released, and it actually done me quite a few favors. I ended up making a single called Made It Back, which actually made it onto Screaming Benger's Saturday night show on Radio 1.
Oh, that was great.
When I heard that, I nearly crashed the car, because I was actually on the way back from a set in Derby when it came on. So I was coming down the A38, it came on, and as you can imagine, I lost my shit, just didn't know what to do while I was driving. Not only that, but I had a few tunes that I'd made with Max Venus as well. Now, Max Venus was one half a Substantial Error with Aaron Townsend, and both of them, I must admit, helped me significantly with the music I was releasing at the time, because obviously I did need a little bit of help, and Max was just a genius on Fruity Loops, believe it or not. And he helped me massively. So shouts out to Max Venus. If you're listening, mate, thank you so much for everything you've done, and it's appreciated, really, because it's made me what I am today.
Well, that 2010 era, like Radio 1 was must-listen radio, weren't it? Then if you were into dance music, you had Annie Mac, you had obviously Groove Rider and Fabio, fucking Fabio and Groove Rider. Why did I say it like that? Groove Rider and Fabio. But yeah, that, and then obviously Screen and Benga show, yeah, some absolute epic shows on there. So to be included in one of those shows around that time, that's a big thing, isn't it? Definitely. And then you went away. You went away for quite a while, didn't you? And I definitely didn't hear about you until a few years ago. So where did you disappear to, Jay? Did you get locked up? What was going on?
Well, to be fair, the dubstep scene kind of dropped off around that time. And just slightly backtracking, once Made It Back was played on Radio 1, it kind of excelled then because Trevor Nelson and DJ Target started picking up the stuff as well. And I eventually got to get played feature, should I say, on DJ Target's introducing show a few times. And then he took me across to Trevor Nelson's show as well, where I got like a guest slot where I was speaking about myself and what I was doing. And I actually met Target at the town hall in Birmingham when he was doing an open evening. And that's where I met him, and luckily met the producer of the show as well, Charlotte. And again, Charlotte really helped me move things forward as well. So big shout out to Charlotte as well. She's listening from Radio 1. And yeah, but where I went missing was the dubstep scene kind of died off, and then my lovely little son came along. So that took all my time. And to be honest, my focus was just on him, and music took a back step, to be fair. So you can blame my son for that one.
No, it's a good enough reason, mate. It's absolutely fantastic, to be honest. But you did come back with a bang last couple of years. Obviously, got this little DM out of nowhere, and here we were chatting again after God knows how long. And obviously, we were talking about my new label, or the new label at the time, Are You Serious, which has been running a few years now. But obviously, that's my garage and bass label. It's obviously a sideline to Dirtbox. And you submitted a couple of tracks for us, didn't you? And they went off with a bang. Tell us a little bit about your EP with us on Are You Serious?
Well, firstly, just one day, as I've always been kind of a drum and bass and dubstep guy, something just hit me out of nowhere, and I thought, I'm going to make a few garage tracks because I was just feeling it at the time. And obviously, I've always known you've been doing your bits in the scene, because even though I took a back step, you still see what's going on around you and who's doing what. And to be fair, I noticed that over the years that I had taken out, you'd still progressed forward into getting your labels together and still releasing, still being in the scene quite a lot, if that makes sense as well. So you were the first person I reached out to see what you could do, to be fair, and it all matched up. So here we are now, and it was a good move, to be fair, for me.
Yeah, I mean, just to emphasize on this, last summer we put out a release on Are You Serious, which was Vibe and Be Free by Kusha, and it just went straight into the top 10, didn't it? After about a week of just not being anywhere, and we were like, oh fuck, nothing's happening with this on Beatport. I just got this Lee, check Beatport. So we check it, boom, straight in the top 10. So we start pushing it a bit harder online, and then before we know it, we got a #1 single on Beatport. And yeah, absolutely phenomenal work with that. Obviously lots of big DJs like EZ and things like that supporting it as well. So it really took off. So obviously that's led us into today's conversation with the new release on Dirtbox, Come Back to Me. Isn't that right, Jay?
It is, yeah, exciting times as well. Again, so they just hit me at the moment. Sat on my computer, started to get the track down, started with the beat, and it just, again, you normally find the best singles and the best releases that you put out, they come together really quickly. When you've got a project that you're working on for hours and hours and weeks, they don't flow as nice as what they do when you make them within, say, 3 hours, for example. The tracks that you make very quickly are always your best, and that's what's happened here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously for this, it couldn't have come a better time. I mean, obviously you have definitely got the knack for making tracks that are just very accessible to everybody. I mean, look back to your dubstep days, they were getting played on Radio 1, and then as soon as we're talking again and releasing again, we'll talk about that in a bit, Radio 1 and knocking on the door yet again. And with this release, I was right, well, I'd say I was about 20% in to programming this Vibe City LP, one of the biggest projects we've ever done on Dirtbox. In fact, fuck it, it is the biggest project I've ever done on Dirtbox Recordings. 2 albums, 4 singles, all focusing on liquid drum and bass. So when you submitted this, it was a fucking no-brainer, mate, wasn't it? It had to be part of this album. We had to get you on board because obviously it's been a few months since obviously the Are You Serious Garage release started to die down a little bit. So yeah, very happy to this on. But you know what? Talk is cheap, mate. Let's have a listen to the track. This is the listening party for Vibe City, and this has Come Back to Me by Kusha. Phenomenal release. This will be the first single that's released from the album. This is out on August the 11th, so make sure you're pre-saving this copy, adding it to your Spotify playlist, and of course grabbing that download on Beatport before the album hits in September. Jay, what a fucking tune, man. This one's going to go off, I think.
Thank you. Yeah, I've had nothing but good feedback on it, to be fair. And when I listen to it, it kind of does. I'm quite an emotional person, so I try to make emotional music. And when I do listen to this track, it does. It makes the hairs on my arms stand up, basically. So, yeah, I've got a lot of confidence within the tune. Yeah.
They say the good tracks take you somewhere. That either you remember or you feel you should be there when the track is playing it. And straight away, as soon as I hear this, if you're from the Birmingham area, you'll get this. But you should be on the Mill or the Rainbow, whatever you like to call it. You should be on the rooftop venue there. They've got a big outdoor venue on the roof overlooking the city, all the industrial side of Birmingham. It's fantastic. This tune reminds me of partying there like around 2017, 18, just in the middle of summer. It's got that vibe, hasn't it? It's a true summer Birmingham vibe. You've hit the nail on the head with that.
Yeah, well, I like to be happy, so I like to make happy music, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can do that as well with, without just splurging out something for the masses, can't you? And this really does, it's all those spots, like I said. And speaking of obviously gaining momentum, not only did you have a release with us that got to #1 last year in those charts, but BBC Radio have picked it up as well. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that as well, Jay? What's been going on the last couple of weeks, what we've been chatting about?
Yeah, no worries. So one morning, about 2 weeks ago, I woke up to a lovely email, and it was to say that basically my tune had been selected for BBC Radio Introducing, which it got played last Saturday night by Theo. And then I woke up to another nice little email that basically stated that the breakfast show on Radio WM had picked it up and was going to have it as their track of the week all this week. So it's first day today. And yeah, it went very well. I had to do a little interview as well. So not only play my tune, but you're getting a bit of insight into me as a person as well. And that's being broadcasted all this week on Rakeem Omar's breakfast show on Radio WM. Yeah,
so make sure you go and listen back to that on the Rakeem Omar show. So just so everybody knows, BBC Introducing, and you upload your music to this, you can get a play. It's an online radio platform run by the BBC. Gets a lot of new artists obviously discovered on there. That has additionally got picked up by actual national radio in the West Midlands. So not just online, but going across the airwaves, and it's tune of the week. So the track has been played to date. It's going to be played for the rest of this week as well. So obviously make sure if you're only just listening to this, you can go back, check out it. Jay's got an interview, and it's very likely we're going to be going down to the radio studios this week, isn't it, Jay? We're going to have a chat in person.
Yeah. It looks that way. I had to do a kind of voice memos that I've had to send in that they're actually edited together and now playing like I'm actually there. But yeah, we do have to go in and do a wrap-up interview towards the end of this week or maybe next week. I'm just waiting on confirmation for that now. Yeah, so it should be soon.
Very exciting. Well, it's the first coverage we've had like this on the label as well. So it's a milestone for us. You know what I mean? Everybody's excited for this. I'm so happy to be back in this track, James. So happy to be back in you. I don't think there's anything else we can say apart from, make sure you're grabbing this one. It's an absolute barn burner. Obviously, this is part of the album, the Vibe City album. One last question for you, Jay. What's it mean to be on a project like this and having your track featured on it?
Do you know what? I must say it's an honour, to be fair. I didn't think my music would take me as far as what it has done over the last 12 months. And to be a part of something with such amazing artists on it, as well as a good label behind it, I don't know what to say, really. It's just that much happening that's never happened to me before. It's kind of overwhelming, to be fair. And you just got to take it all in. But, mistakes I made in the past I've learned from, and this time it is not going to slip. And I'm not going to take my foot off the gas either. So to be a part of something this massive, yeah, it's just overwhelming. Like, I'm feeling the love from more directions, and I'm just grateful for every opportunity that I'm getting at the moment. So, Luke, thank you.
No, thank you, mate. Obviously, it's your track. Do you know what I mean? You're making this. All I can do is just put the power of the promo behind it, and obviously get it out there, which is what I'm good at. I'll do the marketing side. You're the talent with this, and it's very good to have you on board, mate. Absolutely.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being on board as well, Lee, to be fair. And, making the tracks half of the job. These days the world's changed, and you need to work as part of a team these days to get the best out of what you're good at. And, hopefully this track that I've made is good and people enjoy it. I hope they do, and if they do, then I need your help to get it where it needs to be. So yeah, hats off to Dirtbox Recordings and RUSRS and anything else that you're doing for me, Lee, because to be fair, you've done a lot and I'm grateful for it, so thank you.
No, my pleasure, mate. And like I said, definitely more to come. We've got some great ideas. Let's tell people a little bit about what's happening with Kusha after this release. Obviously, we are working on your own solo EP for the label that is incoming. He has got 2 remix EPs coming out as well. One on Are You Serious very, very soon. And we're about 50% done of drum and bass remixes of Be Free and Vibe as well. And the remix we've had so far, oh my fucking God, this artist has smashed it. You are not going to believe. But that's the latest story. You can contact Kusha for bookings through us. We are dealing with them all now. We started a little agency up for some of the artists on the label, Kusha being one. And this is through our SMYDF brand, which is Show Me Your Dirty Face. That's what that stands for. So if you go to facebook.com/SMYDFPR, contact us through there or email on info@smydf.co.uk. So yeah, if you want to get in touch, get the bookings in for Kusha. He's ready, he's able, he's willing to do almost anything for a peanut or two. He's ready. Lovely stuff. Jay, thanks for your time today, mate. Can't wait for this release to get in the hands of everyone.
Yeah, it's exciting times. It's exciting times. But again, thanks to you and thanks to everyone else who's listening to my music and picking it up. And big shouts to all my fans out there. If there is any, love you all. Thank you.
There you go.